everybody. Welcome back to Oh Heck Nah, a Naked and Afraid podcast. And you know by now what we're covering because it's been so crazy. It's been a crazy ride. Last One
Uh,
Standing, season 3. I am Malu Beyonce, and I have
Gabe.
my beautiful co-host, and we are ready to jump right into this. Tell me what you thought about the episode. Like, just get right into it.
I thought it was great. I didn't know watching people try to make fire for an hour would be such compelling television, but the entire time I was just like, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? Wait, you know what happens, but I want to know what happens. They reel me in. It's interesting.
Yeah. So what did you think about how the show started off?
Thought it was fine. We basically get a good segment of them having to relinquish their crafted materials and stuff like that and reading over the challenge and stuff. But I guess they really wanted us to feel the worry the survivalists were feeling when they had to give up all their made supplies, and it's just like time to pivot. Who's gonna pivot the best? We'll see what happens. Who's gonna crack under pressure? But it was great to
Well,
see.
I really liked it. I loved how they took it away. And Patrick's face when they're like, "Oh, you have to turn everything in," he was like, I mean, to me, it was glorious. I didn't think that they were going to be able to use their items. Even on the last episode, when everyone was in, going and grabbing things, I'm like, they're not going to be able to use them. So I'm so happy they weren't able to use them. So what happens next?
So basically, what happens is they're told that they need to make a friction fire and they have to go collect the materials. And the survivalists kind of have different primitive fire making techniques where Darren and Patrick, they start out with bow drill, or they at least want to make a bow drill. So they have to gather all the materials for that. And then Chini and Matt want to make hand drills, so they have to gather material for that. There's
Because
4 phases to this.
supposedly they made fire with their, hand drills like that the night before. So they were feeling really confident about that. And I just want to point out that they have to go collect their materials. However, they are able to use whatever assets they have for their string, for their bow drills or whatever. So what did you think about Chini's decision to do the hand drill, even though she had the paracord?
I thought that since she did have some success with hand drills the day before, I can see why she would be confident enough to use the hand drill in that scenario. But as we kind of saw, the hand drill wasn't really working out for her anymore. And Matt was talking about, oh, I was able to make fire in 5 minutes last night, but today I don't know what's going on. So it's very interesting to see them kind of not doing so well. And we hear Chini mention, oh, I have the paracord, but I don't want to use it. But she felt confident enough, but unfortunately, it did not really work out for her with the hand drill.
It did not. All right. So I'm positive that Chini did practice with the bow drill. They just didn't show it. She's so smart. There's no way that didn't happen. So we have everybody making their, attempting to make their fires, and Darren seems on track. Now, I said this way before. I said this with Jamie. And how long ago did Jamie get eliminated?
Oh gosh, that was when there were 10 survivalists, so that was 6 people ago.
So, I said it back then, when you're doing these challenges, try to find shade. And it seems like each one of them found a little bit of shade, but I think Darren wins because he had the most shade, I think personally. So I'm really excited about that. Was there anything else that you noticed?
Oh gosh. I I remember, or Darren was so confident about his ability to make fire. He's like, I'm gonna go take a break. I'm gonna go sit in the water. I'm not gonna, stress myself out or overheat. I'm gonna wet my jute, I believe the string was, to help with the friction. He used nose grease for the little top part to help with the friction with that. And so that's what really stood out to me then. And then about,
Hang on, hang
oh,
on. I
oh,
have a secret to tell you.
oh, you have a secret.
I have a secret to tell you.
Tell me the secret.
When I was watching this live, I said, go put your station by the water, y'all guys, so you can get in the water and take a break. And I said it, I was like, someone get near the water, get near the water. And I was so overwhelmed and happy to see Darren take a break and get into the water. We don't know if other ones did or not. We don't know, but they only showed Darren. But it looked like Darren was the only one because I was paying attention to like their moisture levels on their body. And
Yeah.
I want to give him an award for doing that. That is so smart. Yes, a round of applause. Do you
Yes.
remember Gary was sweating and crying and his muscles were giving out? Because you can really overwork yourself. We've seen it time and time again. Not only on Last One Standing, back in the old school Naked and Afraid, when they had to make friction fires, people were sweating, giving up, and bodies giving out. So I thought it was super smart. My hats off, if I had a hat on, to Darren, because I thought it was super smart.
Yeah, I think this was I know in the past I've been talking about, oh, I don't really see Darren's storyline. He's kind of in Matt's shadow a little bit because whenever Darren is mentioned, it's always with Matt, but Matt can be mentioned by himself. It's like, oh, Matt's a tough competitor, or Matt and Darren are tough competitors. But I feel like this was kind of was Darren's moment to shine because he's just like, I'm gonna take my time, I'm gonna use these different techniques, use the nose grease and all that. And
His arc is
yeah.
growing. His arc is growing. I just
Exactly, he's getting that
wish
character. Ooh,
it wasn't with nose grease. Like, I know everybody's gonna
oh,
be talking about the nose grease, but I mean, that wasn't the best part. The best part was the smart part was getting in the water. We've seen other people use their skin oil for friction fire, so this is not anything new. He didn't come up with it. He didn't, invent, using grease on your friction fire. So, all right, now let's talk about Patrick. Now you
uh,
knew, and I knew that Patrick was going home. We knew he was gonna fail. And we were preparing for like the backlash of over him failing. So let's talk about Patrick's friction fire attempt.
Patrick, he really did try his best. Just seeing the amount of materials that he made, he's like, I'm gonna be prepared. I'm gonna have so many different methods and techniques. I'm so ready for this. But unfortunately, when he had to give that up, he seemed to be in his head a lot. And we see him gathering the materials, and I think he was the first one to gather all the materials that he needed, or at least one of the first few to gather all the materials he needed. And we see him trying to make the friction fire, but unfortunately his cordage breaks, or his jute, I believe what it's called, breaks. And so that really sets him back. And I think unfortunately, because of kind of all the setbacks and him not being prepared to do it on the fly, he just kind of got really flustered by everything.
So I will, no matter whether you like Patrick, whether you don't like Patrick, it all boiled down to this. And my opinion is, I cannot put it into words. I've been thinking about it. Maybe you can help me, Gabe, because you're really good with words. Patrick cannot see himself, I don't think. I don't think Patrick can see himself in the moment because when he was doing his friction fire, it looked janky. It looked like you got it from the Dollar Tree. Stuff will work from the Dollar Tree. Trust me, I buy stuff from there all the time, but it doesn't work as good. It doesn't last as long. And his bow drill looked janky. And he could have stopped. He was good. His materials just weren't good. He knew what to do. He was doing it. He has that, stamina, that energy, but he could not see himself saying, this is not working. This is janky. It was all wobbly and, you know.
At least it was better than his first attempt last season, because last season it was like a twig that was like, it looked like a lightning bolt with like this teeny tiniest board. But this
It was.
this
It was a
one was
million times better, but it wasn't good enough, was it?
no. And I think he kind of maybe mixed all his techniques into one and just stuck with that one while everyone else was kind of pivoting a little bit. But I think that in his mind, he's like, okay, this kind of works. I can see the smoke. If I just keep trying with this one specific way, it'll eventually work out. And that unfortunately was his downfall.
Yeah, it was janky. I'm sorry, Patrick. His spin stick, it wasn't smooth. Everybody else, it seemed like they were smoother. It was just everything was off. It is what it is. Patrick, you lost. Darren wins. He was prepared. He thought clearly. When setbacks happened, he didn't let it, stop him. He just kept going. He even took a break. Now, Matt. Let's talk about Matt. Because Matt has not been coming in first place
Yeah, he said like, "Oh, I'm gonna get first place in this challenge. I'm gonna get it in 5 minutes." Cut to him not getting it at all, and he's using his hand drill, but he goes through his board because he's taking so long, and he's just like, "Time to pivot," and it's just like, "Oh no, Matt, this is it's I don't know." He's falling a little bit behind, it seems, at least
And
behind
I've
Darren.
Yes, he's falling behind, and then again, there was one point where he's stopping, he's talking again. I'm like, "Quit talking, Matt. Get on it." And I'm really concerned about how much talking he does. Like, I'm wondering if it's editing magic, but right before the commercial, he's almost, like they're trying to see, is Matt gonna get this, Ember? Is he gonna get it? And right before they go to break, he says, "The savage strikes again." I 100% knew that Matt did not say that right there. That was some editing magic. They threw that in there. He did not say that. So anybody who thinks that Matt's a little bit, too big for his britches or bold or whatever, don't think that. That was editing magic. But then of course, since they threw that in there, we knew it was going to fail when he came back from commercial. I thought it was hilarious when Patrick talks to Chini about giving him some of that paracord.
Yeah, and she's just like, "Yeah, there's nothing in the world that I will trade this for, Patrick. I'm sorry, I'm not gonna do that."
Right, but I think it brings up a really good point. Let's talk about alliances and trades. Let's take a break right now because in the previous episode, I feel like Matt and Chini had a little bit of an alliance going on because they were like, "Oh, it has to be us. We have to make it tomorrow." I wasn't 100% sure if it was just because they didn't want Patrick to make it, but nobody's doing alliances and trades in the right, proper way. And this is going to come into play in a little bit later, too. Why? Really think about it, Gabe. Chini really could have had some help if she would have given that paracord to Matt. But we'll get to Matt in a second. Or Darren. I wouldn't do it with Patrick, because I don't think Patrick can help her. But did you think that, they're missing chances for alliances? What do you think?
I agree. I kinda hadn't thought about it, the Matt and Cheney alliance going on and how they could have helped each other. Maybe when Matt pivoted, she pivoted kinda thing, but we don't necessarily know. But yeah, I think everyone's just so focused on survival that there's some social aspects of the gameplay that aren't really coming to play. I know, like, in Survivor and shows like Big Brother and stuff, people can make alliances to help you go further, but I don't know if everyone knows the best ways in Last One Standing to like use an alliance to move forward because maybe they're like, oh, maybe we can't share or trade certain assets at certain times or something like that. Or they're like, maybe in the moment they're not really thinking about that. They're just focused on survival and not any of the
They have
alliances.
hours and hours alone to talk about it. So that's not a good enough excuse. Just off the top of my head, Chini could say, "Listen, I'm gonna give you some paracord. If I get behind in my fire making, you're gonna help me go get, materials or whatever. Like, you'll help me in the end. Something." That's what I'm thinking. I just think there's some big what's another alliance that you think you could have seen? I think there's a lot of chances for alliances on some of these with the pot and Suzanne and Jamie and Trish. Once
Yeah.
once somebody got done, they could help each other or something like that. There's alliances to be made. Last one standing for participants. Please think about some alliances.
Yeah. And maybe they'll change up some of the rules or something that can allow for more alliances depending on like what can be traded like during the challenge. Maybe when I know I remember Andrew Shea talking about how when they give challenges for shows, there's the rules that you see on camera, and then there's the behind the scenes rules that I think producers explain to the contestants. Maybe something behind the scenes is keeping them from doing that, or maybe they
No.
just forgot.
No, I'm 100% sure that they want alliances. I'm 100% sure that because the reason why I think that is because they say when you can't share. When you can't share, that means there's plenty of opportunities to share. So I think that there's definitely, not in the rules for alliances. And also, I think you could have some secret alliances as well. But let's move on. So Darren gets his. Patrick has a cut on his leg. I don't know where the blood comes from. Did you see it?
Yeah, I
And
remember like he's like down, and I just remember seeing like a random cut on his calf or something. I'm like, well, he must have been running around and just been like, oh, no, I must continue on. I can't worry about my injury.
yeah, and he says like something like going out on friction fire would be the worst case scenario. And I'm like, dun dun dun. Don't say that. You're setting yourself up. But I know the producers were happy. Now let's talk about Matt and his ingenious, let's, deface my precious bow for my bow drill. Hello. I'm sure he had that in his pocket, but I think he should have done that from the straight get-go. You have a wax bow line? I'm not gonna lie. A lot of times I'll try to claim like I know stuff. It never even occurred to me. It did not occur to me for him to do that. Number one, I didn't think if it was gonna be allowed, but they said anything. Matt's a genius. You said he's a genius.
Yeah, he has adaptability out of the wazoo,
That's
and
what you say.
yeah, and I think I know like before the episode aired, a few people were like, huh, I don't really think that's fair. But then after the episode, people were like, oh my gosh, that's ingenious. Or that was amazing that he thought of that. I'm sure a lot of people are just like, oh, I think Matt has he has the skill of being able to look at the rules and be like, but I can do this and it's not against the rules. I can do this and it's not against the rules. And I know he did that with the 3-stick
Yeah.
trap, the spring
He
trap
thinks
where
outside of the box. I don't
yes.
know about that hat though, Matt. I mean, your hat, I understand using everything, but the hat I was not a fan of. What about you? Did you like the hat, Gabe?
I thought it was cool. People who have been posting about it thought the hat was cool. I thought it was cool. I'm surprised he needed it. No one is having sunburns or anything, but no, I'm just kidding. But I thought that was really smart of him to do. He's like, "Oh, I have this boar pelt that I'm not using. Let me just use a hat for it." And I'm sure maybe the producer's like, "No, no, that's really cool, man." And they just look at each other like, but
Yeah,
I thought it
I
was
liked it. It
cool.
brought a little spice. Matt does have good personality as well as skills. So Darren's done. Matt and Cheney have changed their ways. Patrick is sticking with his, yucky looking bow drill, and he does not try anything different. And that's what it just really irritated me. And Patrick goes home. So, what did you think about? What did you think about when it was just Patrick and Cheney and the suspense is building? Did you think we knew that Patrick was going home, but did you have any kind of like inkling of drama? Like, oh, last minute you want Patrick to stay?
Well, funnily enough, like an hour before the episode aired, they showed a clip of Chini carrying her fire to a location. So pretty much all the tension nearly went out of the room. But I think near the end, it was just kind of like, oh, that's really upsetting because he did try really hard and he's like, I did so well in the earlier parts of the challenge. I never placed below top 3 and I just really want to be able to move on to the finale and beat Friction Fire, but then he wasn't able to do it. And I think he said that he never got below third on any of his last one standings, but that is incorrect because during the primitive boiling challenge in top 6 of last season, he got 5th. He was nearly last, but Gary was last. So
Right.
there was a little mistake on his part. But yeah, I think it was very sad to see him not get it again, even though it was kind of expected. But I wasn't like, woo, he's gone. I was just kind of like, oh, that must be very frustrating to go out on the same thing he went on last time.
It is. It really sucks. I'm sure that he's going to have reoccurring, thoughts about that. So let's break down Patrick. Patrick, he's like, I'm gonna keep going, even though Chini's burning her fire. And I think they say something like honor buddy, and Matt talks about the other parts of Patrick. He turns to that person Matt says something like he turned from a person that rather sabotage to a survivalist who wants people at their best. And that's what, Matt says about him. Chini's like, oh, we became friends. Darren doesn't say much that I remember, but Patrick is like, it really sucks, but I did better than I did last year. I'm really proud of the way I played. I came to be a legend slayer. He came to be a legend slayer. But dude, I don't think you were. Do you think that he was a legend slayer?
No, I don't think he's slayed any legends throughout his entire time on Last One Standing. I thought it was a nice little moniker. I'm sure the producers liked it so that they could have a little title for him, but there
I
wasn't
liked it.
really. I thought it was cool, but unfortunately, he did not live up to the name. He managed to get top 6 last season, top 4 this season, but Legend Slayer, I don't think so. Energizer Bunny, yes. Legend
And
Slayer, no.
tricky. And
And
tricky.
Tricky.
Yeah, dirty mouth, tricky, don't trust him no matter what. Yeah, there's a lot of things that you can call him. But I would like to call him this, a super survivalist on Last One Standing. You really brought a lot of entertainment to the show. I really like the way you looked at the way to play the game. I like the way you played the game. So you are a super survivalist in my book. He says he'll be back. I believe that he'll probably be back. I think his ego is so big that he doesn't want to go out. So, talking about big egos, let's talk about Matt. Matt does not come in first on the fire. He does not come first on the bird trap. And he literally says that he does not regret feeding everyone. However, Darren says, I don't care what Matt's strategy was, but it's dangerous feeding all of us. Let's talk about Matt and him coming in second and not coming in first and feeding everybody.
Yeah, I thought that was nice of him to do that. I think he's showing like he's a genuinely good person, and fortunately, a lot of the fans have gone from oh, he's arrogant, he's overconfident, he brags too much to like oh that's really nice of him to do that to just genuinely want to help people and make sure they're at their best. So if they beat him, or it's like or he's beating them at their best, or they're beating him at his best, and he's not like "Oh, I hate you all for beating me," but yeah, I think that he's just a really good person. But unfortunately, I think that maybe his downfall is like hosting persona and him wanting to help other people. It's kind of giving them the upper hand because his adaptability can only go so far because he's been very like up and down with his placements where he like nearly went home that first challenge. He placed last in the rocket stove challenge, but he's also been like first or second. But I think near the end he's kind of slipping a little bit. So it's just like, oh, Matt, you're making me nervous. We need you to like we need you to go. Stop talking and go, kind of thing.
Exact. Yes, and I agree with you. I think that Matt, if that's the way he wants to play the game, that's the way you play the game. I just don't think it's the wisest decision, and I think he's probably not going to win because of this decision. And I think that he has put himself in a lower position because of this strategy, because of being so nice. But sometimes when you're nice, you can't help but to be nice. So we cannot blame Matt for that. This is probably not the game for you, though. This is not the game for you to win when you're going to be feeding everybody. I think there's a lot of different ways that you can do it. If he ever did come back, I think he could say, I'm going to feed him up to this amount, to this day. Halfway through the challenge, then I'm not feeding anybody. Sorry, but that's the way it is. Like something like that. And then don't feed them so much. If someone's starving and, give them a little morsel. I survived out there with this much food. Just give them a little food. And what's going to happen when people, if they weren't being fed? It would change the game 100%. But I don't think Matt cares. He wants to be that kind of person. So be it, Matt.
Yeah, I know at the beginning he's like, I have more of a competitive spirit this time, everybody. Oh, here's all this food. Oh no, they beat me. Could this have happened? I don't understand. It's like, but I mean, I guess he just wanted to be as fair as possible. And if he loses, he's like, well, I lost. I guess I wasn't the best at this. But then when he's like, oh, I'm going to get first, I'm going to get in 5 minutes, and then that doesn't happen, it's like, ooh, that's unfortunate. But maybe, maybe he's being set up. They're like, oh, what's the fastest you can get a fire? And he's like, oh, I can get one in 5 minutes. And then they're like, haha, and put that in at a certain spot.
Well, there's another downfall because these challenges that are not elimination challenges are cash challenges and they put you at an advantage. And he's not getting the cash that he needs. So not only you're helping him twofold, you're helping him stay in the game and you're helping them get this cash and you're not bargaining. You're not saying, hey, I'm going to feed you. Here's another alliance idea, y'all. Matt, why don't you say, I will feed you. However, if you win, can I please have first pick? Do that, especially if people are starving. If people are starving, I don't know how much these people would have starved because Matt was feeding them the whole time. So we never got to see him starve. But if they were starving and Matt got a pig, they probably would have said, okay, let you have first choice. Give him an option.
Exactly. Or just be like, "Hey, which one do you want?" Or Darren could have been like, "Hey, you fed me. Which one do you want?" And Matt could be like, "I want the saw." And so Darren could have gotten the peahen. But unfortunately, I don't think Matt was thinking alliance. He was just thinking, "Oh, if I'm nice to them, maybe they'll throw me a bone." Or, "Oh, if I'm nice to them, then they will be at their best and won't hate me for any reason." I don't
That's not
know.
how life works. I mean, the true colors of that song with Cyndi Lauper, Your True Colors. Your true colors are gonna show. If Matt was not there, we would see how all this went. But I'm done. I'm done because I'm upset that I don't think Matt's going to win because of I mean, the saw and the shovel are gonna come into play. I'm sure of it. Just like the paracord came into play. Predictions. Is there anything else we need to go over before we get to predictions?
Well, it's part of the predictions, but did you hear about the incorrect PSR update that the social media posted?
Someone posted it on my page. It was actually that super fan Gina. I cannot say her last name, Chickadee. I'm sorry, Gina, but she posted it on my page. And basically, for those who don't know, we're going to post it here. They put out the PSR ratings, and Darren has a 10. If Darren has a 10, that means Darren wins. And that's why I'm saying I don't think Matt wins. That's what I'm solely basing it on.
Exactly. And I was also looking at Matt and Chini's PSRs, and those PSRs were the same that they said in the episode. And Darren is supposed to also have a 9.8. And so my first thought is, did not enough people think that Darren is going to win because people have been saying Matt and or Chini? So they're like, maybe we'll get people to root for Darren. So oopsies, we put up the incorrect PSR.
Double cross? Are you saying they're trying to double cross us?
I'm just saying, this is all alleged. I'm saying this is allegedly. This is not, this may not be what happened. I'm just throwing out a theory. This is a theory, everybody.
I
Please do
don't think your
not.
theory's right. You are too good
Yeah.
at heart to think that. You come up with some things, I tell you what, but I don't think you're right. I think it was a mistake. Nobody is as sly as you when it comes to those kind of things. Nobody would think. Too many people think Matt's gonna win. Let's throw him off. Because you're a deep thinker. I don't think anybody there is gonna think that deep. And another thing is you have to hit 10 to get a PSR 10. It's not like it's a typo like 9.8, 9.0. It's not like their finger miss. You have to backspace because they're backspacing. They're using the same, template, backspace, put in a 1, put in a 0. Yeah, it was a major mistake.
Yeah, I remember on Last One Standing season 1, I don't have photo evidence of this, so take this with a grain of salt. I remember they posted the incorrect final PSRs. I don't remember what everyone's was, but I remember Dan's was like a 9.0 and Amber's was above his. And I just remember looking at that, I'm like, how does Dan get a 9 after placing in the top 2? And how is it?
Mm.
No offense to Amber. How is it above Amber's? No offense to Amber, but she went home day 3 because of hypothermia. What is happening here? But then they're like, whoopsies, we posted the wrong ones. Here's the new one. And I'm just like, don't do that to Dan Lings. That's so
Yeah.
mean.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just really disappointed in it. It really hurt my feelings to see that. I cannot I mean, I'm basing my prediction off of the 10.0, but Darren is great, but we're not gonna let's not it's kind of ruined the finale for me almost, but I'm not gonna go there. I'm gonna try to focus on the good. Do you think if Matt does not win, he'll come back?
I think he would come back, but Maybe they should wait a little bit for the people who have already done 2 seasons to come back. Let's get some new blood in there and then, have like an all-stars or something down the line. But I think that if asked, Matt would come back for a last one standing or for another challenge in general.
So let's talk about everybody else. I don't think Max is coming back. I cannot believe Max even showed up for this one.
Yeah, and as he said, he's like, my naked and afraid journey has come to an end, and so that I think that he's retired, but not like retired, but he's retired.
What about Kai? Do you think Kai would ever come back?
I think Kai would definitely come back. I think after everything that happened with this season, and now she's fully recovered, if asked, she would come back for another challenge or another competition.
Well, I'm really curious to see what happens on Last One Standing season 4. We have some predictions, as I mentioned on the last one. I've had some computer issues, but I am going to be putting out a couple episodes, maybe like 3 episodes, like back to back. But the main thing is, we have some people that we would like to see on Last One Standing 4. I want to go ahead and preface this. This was before a lot of people dropped out. I do say the Black Cowboy. I don't think the Black Cowboy will ever do it again. I don't know. I have not talked to him because I try to stay professional and not talk to them too much about their season. So I honestly don't know. But Patrick will probably come back.
I think 1000%. He'd probably call them and be like, "Hey, doing Last One Standing season 4, I'm in." And they're like, "Pat, what? We haven't
I'm
even put out casting yet."
I'm really concerned about some of the people that are going to be on Last One Standing 4 because of, I think there's a shortage. And I think they really need to be careful who they put out there. I feel like it's an honor to be out there, but we don't know. I don't want to get ahead of myself. We'll see when they announce the cast for Last One Standing season 4. But hey, as long as it's a hit, it's a hit. The ratings are a hit, the standings are a hit, everything's a hit. I love this show. I've loved every single episode. I think there may be like episode 3. I was kind of like, oh. But besides that, I loved all the episodes, and Gabe's loved them.
Yes, I've enjoyed the season. Emotional roller coaster. All the tap outs, Matt being in the bottom of the first challenge, Kai being med tapped in the middle of the night. It's been a lot.
Okay, so do you have the synopsis for next week?
I do. So, the name of the episode is Three Dog Fight to the Finish. And the synopsis is with the $100,000 prize on the line, the final gauntlet of challenges test each survivalist bushcraft, bow, and fire making skills. The competition is neck and neck, with all 3 competitors seconds from claiming the title of Last One Standing.
I wonder if it's real seconds or if it's editing magic seconds.
Exactly.
Which
They're
one
like,
is it going to be?
gosh. I've been saying it's between Matt and Cheney, but I know it looks like Darren's going, but I'm just going to say Darren and Matt have that little ray of hope that it was an accident that happened. But
You want Matt to win still, correct?
I want Matt to win. But if Darren or Cheney wins, then I won't be like, no, it wasn't meant to be. I'll be like, cool, they deserve it.
Really happy with the final 3. Whoever wins, that's a really good point. You did it again, Gabe. That's a great point. Whoever wins, Last One Standing, deserves it. It's great. Good for you. I don't know how I feel about Matt. I mean, I don't know how I feel about. I wanted Matt to win from day 1, but I just don't like him feeding everybody. I feel like because he's hurting himself. Like I'm so depressed.
He's he's looking out for that non-existent Fernando Award where where the survivalists vote for their favorite survivalist of the season. He definitely would win that and get a prize of money, but unfortunately that's not the case. He's just too nice, it seems. The strategy
And
hasn't paid off for him.
it has not. It has not paid off for you, Matt. However, we're going to say this again next episode. I already know it, but I'm going to go ahead and say it. David's story. I love the format. Even with all the controversy, all the slip ups, all the posts, this season was better than last season, which I didn't think was possible. And it was better than the season before that. They've all been great. And I just want to thank you for bringing this light into my life. I love it. I love eating tacos and watching Last One Standing. And that's a true story. I eat tacos all the time.
They are good. I like burritos.
Oh, yes. I am a taco girl, 100%. Whew. Please make sure that you watch the finale of Last One Standing. The ratings have been great. Forget about all the controversy. Out to the rooftops for your favorite. And let's keep it clean, people. Again, we have watchers, we have fans, and we have super fans. The watchers are loving it, and the watchers are the ones who pay the bills, people. Let's think about it that way. They're loving it, they paid the bills. The fans are loving it. I think the fans who know just a little bit here and there, they're like, oh, why the girls tap? The super fans like us, we're the ones who are causing all the problems behind the scene. But you know what? There's a very few super fans. Very few. I love you all, but there's very few. It's a small community. And I've just been seeing fighting and fighting and fighting going on in these fan rooms. What in the world is going on? Is it the competition of last one standing that's bringing out all these? I mean, what is it?
I think you hit the nail on the head where it's just the competition and everything. And when people see things not go in the way of their favor, when they feel like someone else got an unfair advantage or feels like someone they don't like is in a higher standing than someone they don't like or than someone they do like, then they're just like, no, this isn't the way I want it to be. I want it to be this way. This is the way this should have happened. This person should not be ahead in this way. This person shouldn't have shared this. There, and then insert mean names here. And it's just kind of, you can never win with some of these competition shows because, everyone's going to have a different opinion. And sometimes people like to bring out their negative opinion online to people's faces and don't think there will be many consequences to that. And so people just love to let out their emotions and it just goes all over the place. And it's just
All
like, can we
over.
not?
Well, I
Can
like.
we,
Go ahead.
all right, can we please just like, support your faves, don't send hate. There's no reason to tag a survivalist in a post where you're like, you're dumb and I hate you. Let's not do that.
Yeah, I just saw a post that says, "Want to know why LOS is failing? Look no further than Chini's post about how she wasn't allowed to share the yabbies." Hello, standing is not failing. I mean, it's like people write things and make it fact, and they think it's fact. It's not failing. I hate when people talk about things like it's fact and it's not. Support your survivalists. Support them. There was not a single person on this show that deserves hate. Not one single one. Now, I gave Jamie a hard time. He rubbed me the wrong way, but that's not hate. It takes all these different characters to make a great show. And Patrick was a different character. Jamie was a different character. Who was your favorite character?
Gosh. Um, well, mainly Matt because of his like redemption arc with the fans and the fact that he's so good that he's confident that he'll feed people and it'll go so good for him. And I also like Jamie, his character, because I know a lot of people are like, what? Jamie's character, but Jamie came in kind of with on the lower end with the PSR, the lower end of the days. He knew that he had to make a big splash going into it so people will remember his name. And, those first few episodes, people were mentioning Matt, Patrick, and Jamie. So Jamie had an idea in his mind of what kind of persona he is going to have. Unfortunately, it failed him miserably, but in the end, I think a lot of people were talking about him and do want to see him return. So he did a really good job of like having his name be in the front of your mind. And then Patrick took that a little bit of a step further with his like villain role and having his story arc of, he's a villain, he stole assets an asset in the beginning, but he did prove his skill and he did prove his tenacity and he had the right mental attitude for competition and everyone got everyone's respect from that. Like a lot of the people who were in there are like, yeah, even with Patrick's persona, I trust him or he's a good survivalist and stuff like that. So I think, those three had really good story arcs and nice
Mm-hmm.
character development coming into it.
Well, what's that quote? And I agree with you. What's that quote that they say nice guys always finish last?
Yeah.
So, I mean, we can love them, but nice guys always finish last. I'm going to try to call this girl who posted that. I've never called her before. What time is it? It's not too late. We're just going to do this on the fly. I don't even know how to say her name. She has a harder name. Let's call her and let's see what happens. It might fail. It might not fail. So let's see what happens. We're going to ask her if she answers. We're going to ask her if she believes if that post was a red herring. She didn't answer. Or if that post was a mistake.
You can text her and we'll have to wait until next episode to hear her response. I don't know.
Yeah. In my mind, there is a problem because it seems like whoever makes the graphic should have someone editing the graphic, and who's ever posting the graphic should not be the same person.
Yeah, I'm
Do you know what I
surprised.
mean?
Yeah, and also with Jermaine's PSR has been incorrect since his elimination because during the episode they say his PSR is a 7.4, but it's still a 7.6 on the update day. I don't mind him having a high PSR, but why is there differences? Why is there not consistency here?
Right. And we never talked about this. What was up with EJ's name coming out of Trent's mouth? What was that about? And how did that get posted?
Oh god, and I swear there was a behind the scenes where it showed Matt with a pig, but I don't know if Trent was joking or if maybe EJ was on the roster. But I remember during the time that they were filming, I think there was like flooding in South Carolina or North Carolina or one of them, and EJ was helping out with the reconstruction efforts, like to help rebuild and to like help the people who were displaced because of the flooding and stuff. So he wasn't available at all during that time. Either Trent was joking or he thought EJ was going to be there. This could have been like before everyone like met each other, like the
I'm
pre-season
getting a
interviews.
call. I'm getting a call.
Oh, okay.
Hello, Gina. You're on live with me and Gabe. How are you doing? Yes, we don't know how to say your last name. How do you say it?
Chickadee.
I kind of got it right, Gabe. I kind of got it right. Can you hear her, Gabe?
I can hear.
Okay, so Gabe can hear you. We have a question for you. So you did make that post on my Facebook about the PSRs, correct?
Yes.
What do you think? We're going to give you option A, and then I'm going to give you option B. Option A is, do you think that they did that by mistake? Or option B is, it's a red herring and they're trying to throw us all off.
Because after people started commenting on it, it all of a sudden disappeared.
Smart gal. Thank you so much. You kind of ruined my day, but at the same time, I'm glad you put it on there. Here's the $1 million question. Do you think Darren's gonna win?
Yes, I do.
Are you happy or sad?
Before him, that dude is really skilled, so I think he deserves it.
I think whoever wins definitely deserves it. Thank you for just letting me call you on the spot. Like we just started talking and I started talking about you. I was like, I'm just going to give her a call. So thank you so much for answering and thank you for your opinion. Me and Gabe kind of have a little disagreement. He thinks it's a red herring. I think it's fact. We will find out next Sunday. Or will you be watching?
Absolutely.
All
I
righty.
need to finish this through and see what actually happens.
I cannot wait. Well, thank you so much, Gina, for talking to us and you have a great night.
All right, you too.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
I can't believe she called me back. I cannot believe it.
Our first live caller on air.
And, I'm a loon. There's other podcasts where people tell a little bit about their lives. This one was a short podcast, so I'm going to tell you a little bit about my life. I'm a really bubbly, happy person in real life. I'm very nice. I try to do acts of random kindness, which is ARC, and that's kind of my family motto. But sometimes people can just tick me off, and I'm so not nice. And I don't mean to be. I think it's because I'm always so nice. So when you see me not happy, it's like a big shift. And the other day, I was sitting there minding my own business, and a man told me to smile. Do you go around telling other men to smile? Why do men think that it's a great opening line to a stranger to tell them smile? I might be having a bad day. Sometimes you need to cry. Sometimes you need to be upset. Or sometimes you just don't want to smile. Maybe I have something in my tooth. I don't like it when men tell women to smile. I personally don't like it. So even though I'm very, very nice, I want to apologize to that guy if he ever sees this. Sorry, but I really think it's for your own good. Don't go around telling women to smile, and I think we'll all be better people for it. What about you, Gabe? Do you go around telling women to smile? Have you ever done that? Be honest.
No, no, I have never told anyone to smile. I remember one time, I don't know, it was like the day of my sister's wedding, and someone looked at me and they were like, "You look tired." And I just stared at them and I'm like, I helped and my sister's wedding took place at like our family home. So pretty much me, my brother-in-law's family, my mom, we were all like getting the house ready and stuff. And so it's like the day of the wedding, like we're getting ready. I've been working so hard on this, and someone's like, "You look tired." And I'm just like, oh my gosh, is this what every woman feels like? Just to have someone just be like, "You look this, you should smile." And I'm just like, I'm so sorry to all the women who have been told, like, "You need to smile more," or "You look like this." And it's just like the audacity.
The
Why do people
audacity.
exactly.
People say, I mean, it's one thing if it's like a really good friend. Hey, are you okay? You look a little tired. Like not saying it, not if it was your sister's wedding, because of course that makes, that's common sense that you would be tired. But like, let's just say, me and you are hanging out, you're a really close friend of mine, and I notice something is wrong. I might say, hey, you okay? You seem a little down today, and you're really concerned about them. That's fine. But just to go up to someone that an acquaintance or a stranger, you look tired. Don't do that, people. It's an insult. And we're like concerned about, the way that we look. Are you concerned about the way that you look? I'm concerned. I'm not going to lie.
I am usually very concerned. So I just am like, "Don't look at me."
Yeah. So that's going to be, oh, heck nah. Don't tell people that they look tired or to tell women to smile. So that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for Gina for picking up the
Thank you.
phone. I don't know what to say about that person who posted the 10.0 on Darren. You really kind of, saddened my day, but I know that it was probably just an accident. You work hard, but dang it, dude. Dang.
Darn an individual who did that. That's why that's why I need to be on the payroll and look at the social media and just be like, "We don't know this yet," or "That doesn't look right. The episode said this and this says 10.0, but
Oh, if Gabe
uh,
was editing, we would never have any spoilers. Never. Because he would catch everything like, you can't put that on there. That's too much. We love you. I love you, Gabe. That was a compliment. Thank you for
thank
listening.
you.
And we're out.
Thank you. Like, comment, and subscribe.
Afraid Apocalypse. We got some secret things going on. Make sure you watch.
Can't wait.
Me neither.